Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my channel Green Crystal. Today I am here with the continuation of the chapter 13 of 9th standard science, that is why do we fall ill. As in my previous video I have explained about health and its failure and acute and chronic diseases. Now I'll move on to the causes of diseases. Okay, so now what are the causes? As we know, these diseases always will have some causes. When we think about any disease, we must remember there are many different types of causes and many different level of causes may be there. If we take the simple example, a common example of loose motion in babies. As we know, babies commonly suffer from this. Okay, if you go for this, we know that if we observe what is the cause of infection for the loose motion in a baby, primarily it will be surely virus, right? Then question arises, from where does this virus come from? From where does this virus come from? So these viruses may come from unclean drinking water that baby has consumed. One more question arises in our mind on that spot, that this same water, unclean drinking water, might have been drunken by other babies too. But these babies are not at a risk because these babies doesn't get any loose motion. But the first baby, this is at risk. Why? This is not healthy. He got loose motion due to unsafe drinking water or unclean drinking water. So, why this baby is not healthy? Surely a question will arise. Why this baby is not healthy? Baby may not be healthy because he is not getting well nourished. He does not get enough food. That is lack of good nourishment. Commonly, second primary cause may be lack of good nourishment. Okay. So lack of good nourishment is primarily due to poverty, and also the unclean drinking water is due to the poor public service. Again, this poor public service comes to the poverty. So these are the three main reasons of the baby's illness: viruses, lack of good nourishment, and poverty. So again this question comes in our mind, why the baby is not well nourished? We know that sometimes maybe it is from poor family or poor household. In all cases it is not the same, right? So sometime baby may have some genetic differences in its body. Okay, sometime baby may have some genetic differences in its body. So when there is a genetic difference in the body function, there is some problem or there is something less in the body or something more in the body, the baby is more likely to suffer when exposed to virus or other germs. So due to poor household or due to some genetic differences, so these are solely may not be the reason. These may not be the reason alone, but they are the contributory causes. These are the contributory causes. Okay, in all cases it may not be the same, like having immediate causes and contributory causes. In all cases it is not same, because most diseases have more than one causes. as we know that. Commonly, if we go for headache or if we go for any disease, okay, we have so many causes. So what are the causes and what are the level of causes? First level of cause is virus, second level we can say nourishment or poor nourishment, third level is poverty. Okay, so the causes of disease may be sometime due to public health. These causes may come from public health or community health. So immediate causes of the disease are either infectious agents or non-infectious agents. These infectious agents are microbes, okay, microorganisms that are external causes, and these non-infectious agents are genetic abnormality in the body, inside the body, that is internal factor. Okay, so diseases where microbes are the immediate causes are called infectious diseases. Remember this. What are infectious disease? Infectious means spreading, the disease which are spreading rapidly. Okay, diseases where the microbes are the immediate causes are called infectious diseases. Okay, so these infectious and non-infectious causes are different. Here I'll show the difference between them. Okay, so as these infectious disease, they are transmitted from the person to person, they are spreading rapidly. And how they are spreading means how they are transmitted from person to person? Through pathogens like bacteria, viruses, fungi or parasites. What are pathogens? Means pathogens are the microbes which causes diseases, like microorganisms which causes diseases. These are the microorganisms. Okay, these are commonly causes called as pathogens. But the non-infectious diseases, they cannot be transmitted from pathogens, but they are caused by variety of other factors. They are caused by the variety of other factors. They are not caused by microbes. Okay, and these infectious diseases are they are due to extrinsic factor, external factors, and these non-infectious diseases are due to intrinsic factors, means from internal factor like genetic. Okay, like genetic factor, intrinsic factors, and these intrinsic factors naturally comes from inside of a body, and these extrinsic factors, they are coming from outside of the body, like due to sometime weight loss or due to sometime excessive weight, and sometime due to high blood pressure, if somebody is like that. Okay, so transmission may be through direct contact or some medium like air, water, etc. In which disease? Infectious disease. And in non-infectious disease, transmission is like in case of hereditary diseases, like how the hereditary diseases are passed from parents to offsprings. Okay, and here community hygiene can reduce its occurrence, infectious agents, infectious diseases. But in non-infectious diseases, community hygiene is ineffective in reducing the occurrence. Example here, diabetes and cancer, and here cholera, malaria, etc. So community hygiene is very important to reduce the infectious disease. Okay, so as the way of spread is different, way of like infectious and non-infectious causes, so way of spread will be different, no? Therefore their treatment and prevention depends on the immediate causes. Always the treatment and prevention depends on the immediate causes of the disease. So now Let's move on to infectious disease and its agents. Okay. So infectious disease agents are commonly fungi, multicellular worms, or single cell protozoans. Okay. Sometimes fungi, viruses, bacteria, etc. So first we will move on to the viruses. So example for the common diseases caused by the viruses are common cold, influenza, dengue fever, and AIDS. Okay. Next example of the diseases caused by the bacteria are typhoid, cholera, tuberculosis, and anthrax. Okay. Next one is fungi. So example of the diseases caused by fungi is like mostly skin diseases or skin infection is caused by fungus. Okay. And let's see here on page number 181 of your book. See here, page number 181 of your book. They have shown some microbes diagrams here. So let's see figure 13.1a. Here they have shown the picture of SARS viruses. Okay, so how they have shown here, see, so coming out like they have shown in an arrow here. Okay, so they have here they have shown at the surface of the cell, infected cell, the white scale, this line is representing the nanometer, which is half the micrometer, and when 1000 and means this micrometer is 1000 of a millimeter. So we can't even observe or we can't even imagine how small these viruses are, but how deadly these viruses are. Being so small creature, they are so deadly. So and they are spreading so rapidly, and they're like we cannot control their spread. This scale line here, this shows how small this is. Okay, so these are the SARS viruses. And next here, see this one, figure 13.1b, picture of staphylococci bacteria, which is causing acne, pimples. Okay, see the scale they have shown here at the top left of the figure. Okay, 5 micrometers long, and these this acne or pimple is it's a condition where pimples or acne are found on the face. Okay, and next one is, see here, picture 13.1c, picture of the trypanosoma virus, trypanosoma protozoan it is, and this protozoan organism is responsible for the disease called sleeping sickness. Organism is lying next to the red blood cell. So we know how small the blood cells are, and in front of the blood cell how the organism, see the size, you can observe the size. And this sleeping sickness is caused by the trypanosoma protozoan. This trypanosoma, they are causing sleeping sickness, and the symptoms of sleeping sickness are headache, fever, joint pains, itching in the body, and also the patient will have confusion and poor coordination. As the disease itself shows sleeping sickness, the person will always have confusion, cannot understand the things properly, and poor coordination, cannot coordinate with the people, cannot can communicate properly with the people due to this disease caused by trypanosoma. Okay, next one is leishmania, figure 13.1d. see here in your book, picture of leishmania they have shown here. So this is the your immune system cell. Okay, cell of the immune system, and this leishmania, the protozoan organism, this causes the Kala Azar disease, mostly common in Africa side, like. Okay, these Kala Azar disease is caused by the leishmania, and see here long whip like structure, one organism is shown, like see how the body of the organism and how long whip, like these whips are attached to the immune system cell. Okay, and they are gripping the cell, and they are like two whips of the dividing organism and sending the cell process up and eat up the organism. Means whatever at the immune system, only they are controlling the immune system of the body when they enter the body. And this Kala-Azar disease, here the patient will have fever, weight loss, swelling in the spleen or liver, and always abdominal pain, and low blood pressure will be there, and highly sweating in Kala-Azar disease. Okay, next one is here your 13.1e, picture of an adult roundworm, that is Ascaris, scientific name Ascaris lumbricoides. Okay, and these are found in the small intestine, and they are found in, they are making the like intestinal diseases and intestinal infection. They are causing to the human or other organisms. So these are some of the examples in your book they have shown here. Go through it again so that you can remember it. Okay, so I have told about the viruses, fungi and bacteria, protozoan and worms causing the infection. And also this elephantiasis is caused by filarial worm. Okay, this is caused by worm. So identifying the agent of the disease is very important because it decides the kind of treatment. Doctor will keep in mind the biological character of the pathogens like viruses or bacteria or protozoans, whichever the pathogens are causing the diseases. Doctors will keep in mind that characters of the pathogen and go for the treatment. Okay, for example, viruses live inside the host cells, and but the bacteria rarely live inside the host cells, and these viruses, they are non-living outside the host cells. Okay, but when they enter a body or when they enter the host cell, they are very dangerous. They are dangerous than the bacteria. And these viruses, bacteria and fungi, they multiply very quickly, but the worms, we know these worms are multiplying slowly. When we compare the bacterial and viral diseases, or bacteria and viruses, we are comparing them taxonomically. What we will find is like bacteria are more closely related to each other than the viruses. As a result, whatever the drugs and medicines we are providing for, like a doctor is providing to the patient, it will be effective against many member of the group of the bacteria, but the same medicine will not work against the microbe belonging to the different groups of the organism. Like whatever the medicine the doctor is giving for the this bacterial diseases, it will not work against the microbe belonging to the different group, like protozoan or worms causing disease or viral diseases. Okay, so if we take the example of antibiotics, what are antibiotics? First we'll see. Antibiotics are the powerful medicines that fight the bacterial infections. Remember this point. Antibiotics, these are the powerful medicines that causes or that fight the bacterial infections. They either kill the bacteria or stop their reproduction. Remember, they stop their reproduction or they either kill the bacteria. So body is natural, therefore the body's natural defense or immunity eliminate the pathogen, means completely destroy the pathogen due to antibiotics taken by the patients. They stop the biochemical pathways of the bacteria. Even these antibiotics, they are stopping the biochemical pathways of the bacteria. Pathways means from a route from where these microbes enter an organism. Okay, the route from where these microbes are entering the organisms are called as pathways. As the bacteria, what does the bacteria do when it enters a body? These bacteria, they are forming a cell wall to protect themselves. Always these bacteria, they are forming a cell wall to protect themselves against medicines and all. These antibiotics, what does this do? This antibiotic blocks the process of making the cell wall. They are blocking the process of making the cell wall, and hence they can stop the growth of the bacteria and makes the bacteria unable to produce the protective cell wall, so that the bacteria can die easily. So penicillin is one of the drug or antibiotics which is effective for the bacteria making cell wall. Okay, but these penicillins, they are non-effective in the human cells, because in human cells we don't like our cells or human or other animals, we know that there is no cell wall. We don't make cell wall anyway, so penicillin cannot have such an effect on us. Penicillin will have this effect on many bacteria, on any bacteria that use such process for making the cell wall. Which bacteria is making the cell wall, penicillin will have effect on that bacteria only. Similarly, many antibiotics work against many different species of the bacteria rather than simply working against one. So here penicillins do not work on human. So now antibiotics are not a powerful medicine for viruses, because viruses do not use the pathways the bacteria uses. So what are the pathways of viruses? Just see here. See here, viruses, they look like this. Okay, so the pathways of viruses will always remember this. These viruses, once so have a look at the viruses first. Okay, how the body structure are here. So these viruses pathways will be totally different from bacteria. When we compare these viruses, what they are doing, they are attaching itself to the target cells. So through this part they are attaching themselves to the target cells. Next step virus do is penetration. So they are penetrating, see these spines like things, no, they are attaching like these, and they are penetrating themselves in the host cells. Okay, like injection, it is going inside. Okay, so next process is uncoating and replication, losing its coat, cover, and whatever the coat or cover it will have, no, okay, it will uncoat, and whatever the inside RNA will be there, here inside RNA will be there. These RNA, they are making it to release in the host cells. Okay, they are making it to release in the host cells. After it is releasing in the host cells, they are directly attacking the nucleus of the host cells. Whatever the nucleus will be there, no, it will be pressed like injection. When we are pressing the piercing the injection, no, like that, it will deeply penetrate inside the if this is a cell, it will penetrate deep here, and these RNA will come directly in contact with the nucleus of the cell. Okay, and next process is assembling. Means what? These cell only, these viruses, they are using the host cells RNA nucleus for the division of, or for the multiplication, or for the reproduction of the viruses, so that they can grow rapidly. Okay, so viruses are very dangerous for this. Also one more thing here is, like if we have common cold, taking antibiotics does not reduce the severity of the diseases. because antibiotic does not work, does not reduce the severity of the diseases, or it does not reduce the disease, because antibiotics doesn't work against viruses. Okay. And however, if we have some if we also get some bacterial infection along with the viral infection, or along with the viral common cold, taking antibiotics will help, but in for the viral, not for the viral disease, only for the bacterial disease. Okay, even then the antibiotics is work only against the bacterial part of the infection, not the viral part of the infection. Remember, taking antibiotics doesn't reduce viral diseases. So that's it for today. So here we will finish our teaching, and inshallah next we will move on to means of the spread of the diseases. Jazakallah khair for watching. Allah Hafiz. Jazakallah once again. Thank you.